If you don't understand the nature and the psychology of prey animals, the coming years might be very frustrating for both you and your rabbit. To understand a rabbit, you have to realize that they see the world through the eyes of a prey animal. That means that affection and trust happen on the rabbit's terms, not on human terms. Since rabbits have a prey animal nature, it follows that they also have a type of prey animal psychology about them. Every instinct rabbits possess tells them that danger comes from above their heads. Rabbits are emotionally complex. They remember routines. They remember people. They recognize voices. They grieve. They become lonely. They become depressed. And they can lose trust. It can be difficult to get that trust back. History says that rabbits are simple animals, but once you know more about them, it's clear that they have the same complexities that other species have. Rabbits are not decorative pets. They're animals with apparent intelligence and strong instincts. Because of this, the vast majority of rabbits do not like to be picked up quickly, held off the ground, or cuddled like they were a puppy. This is true regardless of what some rabbit owners might think about their furry friend. And remember, life itself is a bit complex. We don't know everything there is to know about every single rabbit in the entire world. There are exceptions to every rule. What is important to remember about this is that a rabbit being scooped into the air feels exactly like being captured by a hawk, and that's a terrifying feeling. If your dream is to have a pet rabbit that small children can carry around the house or snuggle with on the couch whenever they want to, a rabbit is one of the worst pet choices you could possibly make. It's setting up the child for failure. It's also setting up the rabbit for failure. Forcing rabbits into those types of situations causes immense stress and frequently leads to defensive behaviors like kicking, scratching, or even biting, regardless of what you've seen in viral videos that circulate the internet. To know rabbits well, including their base nature, is to be able to identify how certain situations impact the rabbit. Building trust with a rabbit requires you to meet the rabbit on their level, literally. It sometimes means spending hours sitting flat on the floor, letting the rabbit come to you on their own terms. It takes patience, respect, and an understanding of their subtle body language. In deciding whether a rabbit is right for you and your family, be prepared to give your rabbit that level of specialized attention and care for quite a long time. Rabbits are not short-lived pocket pets like what history might have shown us. When they're properly cared for indoors, they can live for 10 to 12 years or even longer. Before we move on, if you want personalized help with your rabbit or even making a decision whether to get a pet rabbit, you can easily schedule a one-on-one online appointment with me. The link is in the description box of this video. And back to the topic. Pet rabbit ownership can be a decade-long commitment. Even if your rabbit lives a shorter amount of time, which is common for these animals, it's years of finding specialized pet sitters who actually understand rabbit emergencies and what they look like. It also means navigating pet-friendly housing that accommodates free-roaming animals if you choose that option for your home. And it means years of consistent daily care, frequent cleanup, and learning how to gently handle these animals. And if you have children in the home, this includes teaching them to be patient and gentle and keep noises down so the rabbit is not always on alert, thinking his home is full of what he perceives is danger. There are so many other important factors to consider before getting one of these animals. One of the first things we have to dismantle is the concept of rabbit cages. This might surprise you, but even today in the pet care industry, Cages are marketed as a type of default housing option. Those made for rabbit houses, they're also too small. If used as marketed, they're nothing more than a cage that looks better to humans. Trapping a rabbit in a small cage of any kind for most of his life is a form of severe confinement. Rabbits have a biological, skeletal need for constant movement, running, jumping, and binking. Most people wouldn't dream of keeping a cat or a dog locked in a tiny box for most of its life. Why do they think it's okay to do it to a rabbit? To truly give them a good life, you must be willing to give up actual square footage in your home. A rabbit new to your home is an entirely different topic and has to do with allowing a prey animal to get comfortable in a totally unfamiliar environment before giving him free access to all the space. Aside from the various steps of new rabbit ownership, primary spaces matter a lot. The sad reality is, it's often a tragedy when someone gets a rabbit without doing the homework or at least getting up to speed quickly after the rabbit comes into their home. What happens too often is the animal ends up suffering in a cramped cage or confined to a different tiny enclosure. Too many people are still ignoring the harsh reality of what improper living spaces do to the animal. When talking about rabbits, we have to acknowledge the different roles humans have historically assigned to them. Some people see rabbits as beloved companions. Others raise them for breeding, agriculture, or other purposes. I don't want to go deeply into that discussion because it really isn't the focus of this video. What is important about it is that a rabbit's biological and physiological needs do not change based on the reason a human chooses to keep them. Sometimes you might hear people say, "It's just a rabbit. It's not a pet." But from the rabbit's perspective, those human labels don't matter at all. Every rabbit needs room to move, opportunities to run, jump, and explore. They need proper nutrition, protection from extreme temperatures, and humane, respectful handling. Those needs are part of the animal's biology, not something humans get to redefine based on how they classify the animal. Whether a rabbit lives as a companion animal in someone's home or in another setting, it's still the same species with the same basic physical and behavioral needs. Whatever role humans choose for the rabbits, we have a responsibility to minimize unnecessary suffering. That means providing appropriate housing, proper nutrition, protection from the elements, and humane care throughout the animal's life. Compassion isn't determined by the purpose we assign an animal. It's reflected in how we choose to treat it. One example of why a rabbit confined in those types of living environments is cruel has to do with intense temperatures. Since digging is part of a rabbit's base nature, rabbits in nature live in warrens, which is a network of underground tunnels that they dig. They do this for many reasons, but one of those reasons is to escape the suffering they would have to endure if they were above ground when temperatures outside fluctuate. Underground, rabbits escape the bitter cold of winter. And also underground, they escape the sweltering heat of summer. Rabbits have a thick fur coat that they can't remove when it gets hot. If it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit outside, the rabbit's feeling that as over 100 degrees. At 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32.2 degrees Celsius, the same rabbit feels it as over 110 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 43.3 degrees Celsius. Trapped in a cage or other such environment outdoors with no temperature control, the rabbit cannot do what he was biologically designed to do, which is dig underground to escape those extreme temperatures. If he wasn't able to dig underground to protect himself, he could at least find a hollow tree trunk or some other area that's cooler than the human-made overheated trap he lives in. Countless rabbits today are still suffering while their owners live comfortably inside their air-conditioned homes. To get an idea of what an overcaged animal endures when temperatures are soaring, Put your heaviest thick coat on and stand outside when it's 80 or 90 degrees. See how long you can stay there before you have to rip that coat off and get back into your cool house. Beyond the physical temperature controlled space rabbits need to be happy and healthy, there's also the cost. There's a dangerous misconception that rabbits are low maintenance, inexpensive starter pets. The reality is, because these animals are diggers and chewer by nature, they need to be able to do those things. One example is, it's a biological necessity for rabbits to continually chew on coarse fiber. This helps keep their teeth worn down. Rabbits' teeth are hypsodont, which means high-crowned. They're also elodont, which means open-rooted. They have long crowns that extend beyond their gum line. Those teeth continuously grow throughout life. If a rabbit's not allowed to have constant access to abrasive foods like hay and bark and safe wood, their teeth will grow too long. And when that happens, the rabbit can't eat. When rabbits cannot eat, they experience a series of cascading health events that can quickly lead to death. At the very least, the rabbit will suffer needlessly. In those cases, the rabbit needs to see an emergency veterinarian. That kind of intervention is expensive, especially for rabbit teeth problems. Rabbits are also destructive by nature. Anyone considering a rabbit must bunny-proof the environment that the rabbit has access to. I've often joked with families who are preparing for a rabbit that these animals can chew your house to the ground if you do not prepare to accommodate this natural for rabbit behavior. If your priority is a pristine house that's free of scattered hay and other debris that rabbits leave in their wake, a rabbit is probably not the right pet for you. Families have to make a lot of lifestyle adjustments to accommodate a pet rabbit. Those adjustments are nothing compared to the financial reality of pet rabbit ownership when something goes wrong. Rabbits are not starter pets with cheap care. It's been said for years by rabbit experts that rabbits really need their own category in the veterinary sciences. But today, they're still lumped in with other animals that are classified as exotic pets. This means your standard neighborhood dog and cat veterinarian might not have the experience or additional education to treat a rabbit properly. Several times over the years, I've been told by veterinary staff to make sure the rabbit I'm bringing in fasts. Whenever veterinarian staff tells me that, I know right away that I'm at the wrong clinic. When a rabbit stops eating, they can enter a fatal condition called GI stasis within mere hours. Imagine you have a rabbit suffering with that condition and you take him to the emergency veterinarian who believes a rabbit should not have food or water for a period of time. That's not good. Some veterinarians, even today, still don't require pain medication for a rabbit after surgery. If a veterinarian says that rabbits really don't need any kind of pain management after a surgery, that's another indicator I'm in the wrong place. There are other things that can directly impact the health and well-being of your rabbit. If you take the time to understand a bit about the biology and base nature of these animals, you'll be in a much better position to ask the right questions when searching for a suitable veterinarian. Most of the veterinarians I've seen have been awesome with rabbits. You can find a veterinarian who has consistent, hands-on experience treating these animals. Don't expect your veterinarian to have any experience with day-to-day care at home because most of them don't have rabbits living in their house with them. They specialize in treatment, biology, and medical well-being. For daily care and handling, including primary living space, safe toys, and other at-home practices, talk to people who have actually had years of experience with at-home care and handling. Medical training is not the same as day-to-day care of a pet that lives in your home. Those are different specialties entirely. So it's not just about the expense. It's about finding a veterinarian who understands at least the basics of safe rabbit care and treatment. A single emergency visit, assuming you can even find one open in your area when your rabbit needs immediate assistance, can easily cost well over $1,000. Between the constant mountain of fresh orchard grass or Timothy hay, the daily fresh greens, the specialized medical care, A rabbit can easily cost as much to maintain over their lifespan as a large breed dog. But even if you have the budget and the space, there's an entirely different side to rabbit ownership that catches most families completely off guard, and it's their unique psychology as a prey animal. Choosing not to bring a rabbit into your home because you can't afford to meet their complex needs is not a failure. It's a profound act of love and respect for you, your home, and for the animal. People who truly care about animals will do whatever they can to keep these beautiful creatures out of situations where they'll spend their lifetime misunderstood, overcaged, and miserable. There's so many things to learn about compassionate rabbit ownership. If you know enough and you're still completely committed to giving up some floor space, restructuring your budget, and earning the trust of a prey animal on their terms, then you might just be the rare, wonderful home a rabbit needs. Don't let your homework stop at this information. It's just the beginning. Continue to research and learn. Be fully prepared to give your rabbit a good home and a thriving life. Remember, choosing not to bring a rabbit into your home because you can't meet their base needs is not a failure. It's a beautiful display of empathy that humans can show for other living things. It is an act of love.